All right, so topic 11 review. First question. Says, what is one minor arc, one major arc, and one semicircle? HJ, what is that? So you would say arc HJ is a minor arc. Major arc. HJL is a major arc because it's more than half the circle, and then a semicircle has to be exactly half the circle. HJK so some ways to kind of cheat. Minor arcs have 2 letters, major arcs have 3 letters, and semicircles have 3 letters. So on your test, it'll give you the diagram, and it'll say A, B, C, D. Which one has a minor arc, a major arc, and a semicircle listed? It says name the major arc and find its measure. So you have to name what the major arc is, and then tell me how many degrees it is. ADB would be the name of the major arc. And then to tell me how big it is. So to calculate how big that major arc is, you could take 360 degrees and subtract the minor arc, and that would equal how big the major arc is. Number 3, it says find the measure of arc CDE. I want to know how many degrees that arc is, and it says that DB is the only diameter. So that is a diameter that cuts the circle in half. So arc DCB equals how many degrees? 180. And if you just want to find, you probably need to find the measure of this arc right here. Arc DC. So how would you find that arc? You would subtract arc BC, and it would give you the measure of arc DC. So 180 minus 35. So if this arc is 145 and this arc is 27, if you add those 2 arcs together, it gives you the degree of the arc that you're trying to find. So solve for the missing wedge and then add 27 plus 145, and it gives you the measure of arc EBC or CDE. Number 4, name the minor arc and find its measure. Which one's the minor arc? The minor arc? So the minor arc, just 2 letters. ACB would be the name of the sector. That would be the whole piece. So AB is the name of the arc. And then how many degrees is it equal to? 115. All right, number 5. Find the circumference. Leave your answer in terms of pi. So do not multiply by pi. Not testing? No.
Because I'm senior.
Okay, perfect. So, for finding the circumference, we have two formulas we can use. Circumference equals 2 pi r, or the circumference equals pi d. Which one are we going to use? 2 pi r or pi d? So we're not going to use this one because they give us a diameter. So to calculate the circumference, you have to do c equals pi times 5.7. Multiply that out, and you get your circumference. 5.7 pi. That's it. That's the answer. So your answer will look like this. Pi. Just switch them around. All right, find the circumference. Leave your answer in terms of pi. So we have two formulas we can use. The circumference equals 2 pi r, or the circumference equals pi d. Which one are we going to use this time? 2 pi r. So the circumference is equal to 2 times pi times 18. Once you multiply that out, you'll get your circumference in terms of pi, or 36 pi. All right, number 7. Find the length in meters of arc y, p, x. Leave your answer in terms of pi. We're trying to find the length of y, p, x. The length of that pink line, and you'll leave your answer in terms of pi. So we have to use the formula arc length over circumference equals the arc measure in degrees over 360. Do we know the length of arc YPX? No, we don't. Call that X. We have to calculate the circumference of that circle. So they give us a radius. So we're going to use the 2 pi r, or 2 pi 10 for the circumference. Now we need the measure of the pink arc. How many degrees is that angle? So this one's 90, right? But I don't want that one because that doesn't describe the pink line. So I have to do 360 minus 90 to get the other arc, which is 270. Now, I like to do the simplified technique before I continue. So, if I simplify this, I get x over, what's 2 pi 10? I also like to simplify that. I'll show you that in the calculator. So, I just type in the fraction 270 over 360. When you type in your calculator, it should return the fraction 3 over 4. You know what I'm saying? I'll show you what it looks like. So if you do control divide and you type 270 over 360, it gives you that 3/4. It simplifies the fraction. That makes cross multiplying a little easier. So 3 times 20 is 60 pi, and 4 times x is 4x. Then you divide both sides by 4. You only divide those two numbers and you leave the pi out of the equation. So 60 divided by 4 is 15 pi's. That means that the arc length of xpy is 15 pi's. So if in the calculator you would just type in control divide 60 on top and 4 on the bottom, and it simplifies it to 15, and you leave the pi on top, so you get 15 pi's. On your answer document, when you have to write that answer in, there's no way to write pi in on your test, so you would just bubble in 15, and you would write pi next to it. That kind of makes sense? All right.
Students, teachers, please pardon this interruption. Students and teachers, I want to remind you today that we do not have bells or announcements as our juniors are taking the SAT. Also, a reminder that we do not have wind, so students, you will stay in your first period until 10:01 and then transition to second period. The rest of this announcement is for our students who are about to embark on the SAT school day. And so students who are testing this morning should have already put away any electronic devices that can take pictures, access the internet, and receive messages which are prohibited during testing. You have signed an oath confirming that you have turned off and turned in any such device, including cell phones, tablets, and smartwatches, or that you did not bring electronic devices with you into the room. You are agreeing to not access any prohibited device during the test administration. That includes during breaks. Also, students, remember, during scheduled breaks, there is no talking or discussing test content. Test administrators, at this time, you may begin reading your script for testing. Thank you and good luck.
So the area of a circle is equal to pi r squared. So the area of this circle is equal to pi times 2.2 squared. So all you do is square 2.2, and you get 4.84 with the pi next to it. And that'll be a multiple choice answer. Please don't multiply it out. Please don't do pi 2.2 squared. You're not going to see that 15.2 decimal on your test. It'll say 4.84 pi. And 4.84 pi, those are the same answer, but it'll have pi in your multiple choice answer selection. Find the area of this circle. Leave your answer in terms of pi. So be careful, guys. Area is equal to pi r squared, not pi diameter squared. So you have to cut that diameter in half. What is half of 4.1? 2.05 is half of 4.1. So I'm going to do area equals pi r squared. So all you're going to do is square 2.05, and you get 4.2025. .2025 pi. So just squaring the number, not multiplying by pi. Oh, here we go. Find the area of a sector with a central angle of 170 and a diameter of 9.1. Round your answer to the nearest tenth. That's 1 decimal place. So we have a circle. The diameter is 9.1, and your central angle is 170. So we're trying to find the area of that wedge. So on your test, you'll see the formula sector over pi r squared equals the arc measure in degrees over 360. So do we have an r value? So we need to cut this number in half. 9.1 divided by 2. It's 4.55. That's going to be our radius value. So to find the area of our sector, we don't know what the value of the sector is. That's going to be x over pi 4.55 squared. It says leave your answer and round to the nearest tenth. So we can multiply by pi this time. How many degrees is our sector? So in this scenario, we're just going to use our calculator to do all of this. 170 times 4.55 squared. Times pi 4.55 squared. That's what we're multiplying. 170 times pi 4.55 squared. It gives us 11,056.6. And what's x times 360? 360x. So to get x by itself, we'll divide both sides by 360. We'll do that number divided by 360. And we get 30.7. So our answer is just 30.7. We're not going to do 37.128, just 30.7. So in this scenario, you can't multiply by pi. You have to do everything in decimal format. Find the length of S. So this one's a little different. This is radians in a radius. And we're trying to find the length of this line. So that one day we did S equals radians times radius. Find your answers to the nearest tenth. So S is equal to 3 times 2 pi over 3. If you type that in your calculator, it gives you the length of that line. 3 times 2 pi over 3. Radius times radians, 6.28. 6.28. Or what is 6.28 would be 6.3. 6.3 meters. Radians times radius. And what we did yesterday, what is the equation that describes that line? So yesterday we talked about a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So h and k are the center of the circle. Where is the center of this circle? And it counts 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So the center of that circle is at 3, negative 2. The center of the circle is at 3, negative 2. And then to count the radius of the circle, it's 1, 2, 3. Because the graph counts by 2's. The graph counts by 2, so you have to count 1, 2, 3. The radius equals 3. So if we plug this information into this equation, we would get x minus 3 squared. You can pause there. This one's x plus 3. That one's x plus 3. Those two are wrong. And then it's y minus negative 2 squared, which is like saying y plus 2. Check, check. Equals 3 squared. What's 3 squared? 9. Not 18. So B is the correct answer. Or you can look at the problem and it says the center is at negative 3, positive 2. Remember, insiders lie, so it says negative 3, positive 2, but it's really positive 3, negative 2. And then you take the square root of that and you get 3. Write the standard equation for this circle. So write the equation for this circle. So what would the equation be? R squared. So what is 6 squared? And then clean this double negative up and make that a positive. So you get x minus 10 squared plus y plus 6 squared equals 36. If you're looking for that answer choice at the bottom of your paper. Okay, same thing here. So this one's a little different because it does not give us a radius. It tells us what it passes through. So we have to use the distance formula to figure out what the radius is. So we can pick like x1, y1, x2, y2. As soon as we just fill out the equation, we can type it in our calculator. We have 0 minus negative 6 squared plus 0 minus negative 8 squared. So once we have that distance formula filled out, we can type it in our calculator. The square root of parentheses 0 minus negative 6 squared plus parentheses 0 minus negative 8 squared. And our distance from the center of the circle to the outside of the circle is 10. So now we have to use the center and the radius to build an equation. X minus negative 6 squared plus y minus negative 8 squared equals 10 squared. 10 times 10 is 100. So cleaning up the double negatives, we get x plus 6 squared plus y plus 8 squared equals 100. This one just says find the center of the circle and find the radius of the circle. It says the center is at negative 3, negative 6, but where is it really? Positive, positive. The opposite of those two values. It says that r squared equals 4. You take the square root of 4, and r equals the square root of 4 is 2. What is the equation for the center of the circle 0, 0 that passes through the point negative 8, 3? So now the center of our circle is at 0, 0, and it passes through the point negative 8, 3. So we have to do the distance formula again. We can do x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And then 0 minus negative 8 is 8 squared, plus 3 minus 0 is 3 squared. 64 plus 9. So the radius equals the square root of 73. You can't take the square root of that, it gives you some like janky decimal. So I know the center is at 0, 0. And my radius equals the square root of 73. X minus 0 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals the square root of 73 squared. That's my formula. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So we can clean it up. I don't have to write the minus 0, so I just get x squared. I don't have to write minus 0 for y. You just get y squared. And then the square root of 73 squared. The square root of 73 squared. 73. So kind of a nasty radical there. Find the center and the radius of the circle, then graph it. Ooh. So it says the center is at positive 2, negative 2, but where is it really? Negative 2, positive 2. So my center is at and then it says the radius is 36, so how do you, or r squared is 36, so what is r? 6. So I need to go 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, and you can kind of draw a circle. So your radius is 6 up, 6 left, 6 right, and 6 down. You can kind of sketch a little circle. Ooh. Where's the center of this circle? The center of this circle is x plus nothing and y plus nothing, so 0, 0. And then it says that r squared equals 100. So what is r really? So you go 10 up, 10 left, 10 down, and 10 right. And you draw a circle. So I accidentally did all of it with you. My bad. That's it.